Welcome back, Class 10, your History Revision class, Chapter 8, the Cripps Mission and the Quit India Movement. Okay, a little background. 3 round-table conferences were held in London. The third conference sat from 17th November to 24th December 1932. After this conference, the government drew up a set of proposals for the reform of the Indian government. The Government of India Act received a royal assent on 4th August 1935. So, the Act, which is the Government of India Act of 1935, provided for the creation of All India Federation consisting of 11 British provinces such as the princely states as acceded to the Federation. Federal provision of the Act will never put into operation. The most significant aspect of the Act was the provision of provincial autonomy. Diarchy was swept aside and replaced by the system of responsible government in provinces. So this is basically the background. Now, reasons for and events leading to the Quit India movement. The World War II, that means the Second World War, broke out in September 1939. It began with Germany's invasion of Poland. On 3rd September, Britain and France declared war on Germany. The failure of Cripps Mission of 1942 brought about a marked change in the attitude of Congress leaders. So, the failure of the Cripps Mission changed the outlook of the Congress leaders. They had been until now reluctant. They were thinking in the horns of dilemma. They were reluctant to launch a mass movement during this war. But now they are convinced that British rule must end immediately. Now they are convinced that the British rule must end immediately. The events leading to the Quit India movement of 1942 really need a detailed account. So, resignation of Congress ministers. The Congress ministers resigned. Congress ministers started resigning on the war issue. What was their objection? Their objection was that the British government had involved India in the war, Second World War, without consulting the central legislature and the provincial government, without consulting the people of India, I suppose to say. They involved India, the war. The Congress ministers resigned towards the end of October 1939. The Muslim League rejoiced it because they were very eager to see the fall of the Congress ministries after all. The League promised all the help in war efforts on the condition that no constitutional scheme would be finalized without its approval. See the politics. Congress leaders started resigning. The Muslim Leagues lapped it up because they always wanted this. And they said that we will cooperate in all fields provided any changes, constitutional and provincial changes, should not be done without their consultation. Now comes the August offer of 1940. The war situation in Europe had worsened. Therefore, an attempt was made to end the political deadlock. On August 8, 1940, the Viceroy, Lord Linthinglow, made a new offer known generally as the August offer. The main proposal was that after the war was over, a representative Indian body would be set up to frame a constitution of India. So what was the offer? His main proposal was that after the Second World War, a representative of Indian bodies will be set up to frame the constitution of India. It was rejected. The offer failed to satisfy the Congress leader. Why? As there was no time limit within which the constitution making body was to be set up, number one, and on the issue of expansion of Viceroy's Executive Council, also no arrangement could be reached. Now, individual satyagraha. Since the war aims aims of the British were not clear, the Congress could not cooperate with them with the war efforts because the British were not very clear what they wanted. It neither wanted to launch a mass movement nor to give an impression that it was doing nothing. The Congress now launched a campaign of individual civil disobedience. It was done more as a moral protest than to obstruct the war effort. The Satyagrahis were to proclaim, it is wrong to help the British war effort with money or men. So the Satyagrahis proclaimed that it was wrong to help the British with men or money. Acharya Vinoda Bhave was selected to be one of the first Satyagrahis. He was arrested in October 1940. Vinoba Bhave was followed by other prominent congressmen like Patel, Rajagopalachari and Maulana Kalam Azad. They were all arrested. By the end of 1941, at least 22,000 persons had been jailed throughout the country. Now comes the Cripps Mission of 1942. Why did Sir Strafford Cripps come to India? On 7th December 1941, Japan attacked Pearl Harbor, an American naval base in the Hawaii Island. Japan's entry into the war on the side of Germany was a cause of great worry for Britain, USA and China. So, since Japan entered the war, it was causing worry because Japan entered on the side of Germany. So, Britain, USA and China was worrying. I have taught the world wars, first and second, so you can understand why. They got all the more worried by the rapidity with which Japan overran the countries one after the other in Southeast Asia. The war thus had to come to the very border of India, because they were capturing or overrunning the Southeast Asian countries. The efficient defense of India needed the fullest cooperation of the people of the country. The British Prime Minister, Mr. Winston Churchill, was still not showing any eagerness to reach an agreement with the Indian leaders. Then came the pressure of the President of the USA. The result was that Sir Strafford Cripps, a member of the British War Cabinet, was sent to India to solve the Indian problem. Sir Cripps arrived at Delhi in March 1942. Now comes the Cripps proposal. The proposal which Mr. Cripps brought are: number one, after the war was over, India would be given the same status as other dominions, for example, Canada or Australia. Same dominion, not freedom, total freedom. Immediately after the war, a constituent assembly would be set up. The princely states would be free to join the Indian Union or to stay out of it. Third was, the British government would accept the constitution so framed, subject to the condition that any province or provinces which did not accept the new constitution could frame a constitution of their own. They singly or together would be accorded the same status as the Indian Union had. Number 4. Until the new constitution was framed, the government desired effective participation of Indian leaders in Viceroy's Executive Council. Only the defense of India would remain under the control of the British government. Now, the Cripps proposal was rejected. Why? The Congress rejected the proposal. Seemed to satisfy both Congress and Muslim League. So the Congress had the following objections. What are the objections? Number 1, the proposal could divide India into number of independent states, because there's no hard and fast rule that everyone had to join the Indian Union. The princely states could keep themselves free. Second was, the people of the princely state had not been given the right to elect the representatives to the proposed constitution-making body, their representatives were to be selected by the rulers. So they were not given the right to elect. The rulers would select. And third was, the self-government or dominion status were yet far away. Meanwhile, the Governor-General was to continue with the full powers over the matters like war and defense. In the war times, defense covers almost everything of the administration. Even then, the Congress leaders could have joined the Viceroy's Executive Council, provided they had an assurance that the Viceroy would act as a constitutional head. But no such assurance was given. This killed the Cripps Mission. So the Cripps Mission was squashed. I mean, it did not happen basically. In utter disappointment, Gandhi said that it was a post-dated check which cannot be cashed. The Muslim League also rejected the proposal because they thought that the prospect of the formation of Pakistan was not there, it was very bleak. So it demanded a definite pronouncement in favor of partition. So the Muslim League said that no, you have to say clearly that there will be partition and there will be Pakistan. So that is why Cripps' proposal was rejected. So that is all for revision today. In the next revision class, we'll start with the Quit India movement. Thank you for today.